Okay, with this reading, I'm going to look at Matt Gaetz and see how the eclipse will affect him. Or let's say both eclipses, both October eclipses, the solar eclipse and the partial lunar eclipse on the 28th. Solar eclipse is on the 14th, so that's coming up. And I'll be live with Lisa and Lori on the 14th, and you guys can bring some other political people that you want to, or not bring them, but I mean bring questions about them that we can check into. So anyway, Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz, what will happen? What will this solar eclipse, oops, what will the solar eclipse and lunar eclipse bring into your life? You know, eclipses always bring in change. The solar eclipse tends to be, solar eclipses tend to be external events, you know, things that are happening from the outside, and the lunar eclipses tend to be more on the inner levels. So yeah, okay. Matt Gaetz, right there. His strategy, inner circle will be restricted. He might even be locked up for stealing something. Oh, well, of course it's always about money. All right, interesting. His wife, what's her name? Ginger Lucky. I don't think she's going to be happy with him, or I don't think she has been happy with him. Ooh, these cards are terrible. Just terrible. Here he is down at the bottom. Wow. Yeah, I don't know that Daddy's boy can be rescued by, look at this. Wow. Yeah, woo. His dad has always rescued him. Oops, let me bring these down a little. Just in case it cuts off. I notice on cell phones that sometimes you can't see the top very well. Okay, so just opening up the reading, you can see he has this strategy with his inner circle. And you know who all those guys are, you know, Jim Jordan. But they'll eat each other if it comes down to it. But Jim Jordan, Marjorie Taylor, Tater Green, Tater Tot, and Hobart. I mean, what are the other ones? I'm thinking maybe Steve Scalise is in there. There's just a big gang of them. The crazies. So anyway, their whole strategy won't work. They'll be restricted, and I think that as the J6 committee, the J6 DC, that whole, you know, Jack Smith will be into that. I think that a lot of them are going to go down. They'll be taken out of their position because, you know, you can't. So many of them have violated their oath to their oath with the Constitution that they took. So that's it, and it has to do with, for him, I would say something, because this is focusing just on him, and maybe it's his family, something in a family situation where he has been stealing, where he's been, and that's the change that will come. So he'll, at least if he's not locked up, and who wouldn't love to see him locked up, but if he's not locked up, he'll at least be restricted from being such an energy vampire. He'll be restricted from stealing, grifting. He'll have to take a hit because of his lack of responsibility. Yeah. And then with the change coming and moving this way, it's going to be the changes to his ability to continue to create abundance and maybe even be so risky. But this is pretty much my abundance card in his ability, you know, to earn. And he's gambled, you know, he really has gambled. Yeah. This is also, you know, if we take Jack Smith out of the equation, this is the political process of, you know, the House and Senate, Congress. And he just sucks up so much time. And there's something about money. So there's this restriction. Look at it, you know, 2 of the money cards coming through here. I think that this card has to do, because this is coming up behind his wife's back, and I think that, now, she might be pregnant. This is a card of pregnancy. Or do they have kids together already? Ugh, I don't know. Anyway, he's down here. His wife is above him. There's a lot of issues between he and who is this woman, right? Because I remember, you know, he was coming after Cassidy Hutchinson, and of course she wouldn't be the only one. The dude's a cheater, and he's probably pretty empty inside, otherwise he wouldn't be this energy vampire that he is. So his strategy, these 2 cards uniting together, tells me that what's on his mind is just his strategy all the time, but he's locked in his own self-created prison. We might as well put like the 8 of Swords up here. And he's looking at being examined. He's looking at a lot of, you know, just investigations, I think, into him. Because this card right in the center of the entire spread has everything to do with being watched and feeling helpless. You know, aside from the fact that it has something to do with his wife, and she's above him, so she has more control over him, and we know that she's very wealthy. If it weren't for his dad and her, the guy probably wouldn't, you know. Although he does tend to show up and work a lot, except for it's in the wrong way, right? I mean, he's not silent, but it's just, he's just so distorted. Again, with his wife and the family assets here, all of this here. What's sneaking up behind his back, so all of these cards are sneaking up behind him. This is his mental illness. This is, you know, this is like the Tower card. This is crisis. Poverty's coming towards him, and I would say an indictment at least, I would think, or some sad news at least. Of course, it knights to his wife. I don't have the coffin card here, so I can't say for sure divorce, but there's some problem with their assets. And this train is like coming up behind him, and there's nothing he can do about it. I'm wondering if she prefers it when he's gone and he, you know, travels for work or whatever he does. But this is, you know, this is pretty much just a card of movement and progress, and it's my card for the journey that a person's soul is on. But he's not, it's not headed in front of him where he could leave something behind. It's all sneaking up behind him. And the 4 corners speak to he can't think of anything more than all these. He really doesn't have a good strategy because of all these investigations that are going to be coming into him. And it does have something to do with the J6 committee report, and Jack Smith is, you know, heading the one in D.C. For the prosecutor. And then we have Tanya Chutkan for the judge there, but he's just, this guy is, he's looking forward to being, because of the political process and because of J6 and him backing Trump like he always has, we're gonna, I think we're gonna be seeing him just he might smile about it, but he's also just in so much denial. You know, just think of the on the on the house floor when he was sharing videos, and he was telling people, sharing videos of, younger women, and he does like the little girls, remember? He likes the ones under 18. And meanwhile, here's his wife, all right? All of that. There's restriction there. But he was showing videos on the house floor, and he was talking about how he likes to take Viagra and chase it down with energy drinks. So, yeah, that's just great. So there's this political process that's developing over time. He's helpless to control it. He cannot. And his wife might be pregnant, or I don't know. Maybe she was thinking about it and now is not. I don't even know if they have kids. I don't know anything about his personal. He's just so disgusting. But changes. If she is pregnant, maybe there's a change coming in about that. Changes to his ability to be the stand-up guy. We could look at this card and just say it's official that he is going to be tortured with worry and stress in the future. Major demands being put on this guy. He's not going to sleep well. He's probably going to be drinking a lot. Major self-destruction, self-sabotage. And because it's combined with the J6 insurrection card up here, this to me is all about the violence that happened. And as the future moves forward, so for the next 19 years of his life, if he lives that long, or who, I don't have the coffin card here, so I imagine he will, and he's not that old, but his mind is going to deteriorate more and more, always be worried about what's coming at him because he can't seem to stop self-sabotaging, and he's going to become poorer and poorer as time goes by. Always looking for, subpoenas, indictments. You know what? If the guy had any brains, which he doesn't, but if he did, he would be quiet. He would sit the you-know-what down and shut the you-know-what up, and not even be in the House, not even be a congressperson, not even try. Because, of course, the spotlight's on you. And all he's thinking about is money. That's all he thinks about. But that will be his, besides money and women, that will be the loss in his life. And hopefully we'll see him here someday, because maybe that's the case. If it's not imprisonment, it's definitely restriction. Wow. And it might be that his wife moves out of their home. There's that real possibility, because she is touching these cards here, and the change knights to her. Yeah, interesting. The cards at night to him, to have the imprisonment restriction card hanging over him and knighting to him is huge. And to have the family money coming out, people will be talking more and more about how he's just been bolstered by his father to get him out of DUIs. And then when he married this Ginger Lucky, then he married into some money there. But who's this woman over here, right? Well, she's a stand-in for many young women, actually. Whew. And then his strategy isn't going to work. And like I said, helpless and hopeless, and being watched. And if this is Jack Smith, he's been watching him for quite some time. Change in his assets. And hopefully imprisonment. Oh, it'd be great to see that. Okay, thanks you guys for hanging in there with me while I explore this. Bye.